LPL community and work with us in beginning this conversation and dialogue to the issues that are pertinent today. We welcome Boston. Hi, Boston. San Diego, and of course Charlotte, to this wonderful event. We want to do a special thank you to Michelle Roshaka, Tom Gooley, and Sally Larson for their unwavering support for our organizations and extending the invitation within their organizations. To our team, my team, to Theo, Innie, Jessica, you guys have worked tirelessly, truly, to put this together in about a week. It is amazing, the job that you have done. And I commend you, and I thank you, because through your thoughtfulness, you have provided our LPL community a way to find healing through learning of what we can do as an organization to make a difference. So I commend you. And finally, to all the leaders here that I see, Sean, Tracy, Kate, everyone, all the senior leaders, the ERG sponsors, everyone online, everyone here in this community, this LPL community, I say thank you for joining us. Truly, thank you. I hope that you find this conversation engaging and you leverage Detective McFadden, because he is here for us to step forward into the future. So thank you. I now turn it over to Theo, our chair.
Welcome everyone, and really this event was spurred on by the message from Michelle O. And she said something after the July 4th week, and really we came back and said, what can we do to support our community here at LPL? And this is the first step. So before every meeting, we always read our mission statement for what the AAERG stands for. Our mission is to create, build, and maintain a community that networks to promote education, inclusion, professionalism, and fun, empowering our professionals to be creative, innovative, and forward-thinking, thus fostering high standards, courageous expression, and mentorship. And that's what we're doing today regarding our mission for LPL and our AAERG. Quick plug for the ERGs, if you have not signed up for one, please sign up for one today. All you have to do is go on LPL Work and type in ERG, sign up for all of them, we need you. All right, I'm gonna pass it on to my co-chair, Innie, and she's gonna get us rolling.
Hello, everybody. Great. I'm Innie Editing. I'm AVP of Program Management in BTS, and I have the esteemed pleasure to announce Garry McFadden today. So I'm going to read some things. The catalyst for today's discussion was an email that Michelle O., our Chief Risk Officer, wrote 2 weeks ago to the AAERG based on recent national tragedies. To partially quote the sentiments of her email reads, I wish I could say it's hard to believe that we are here mourning the loss of life across our country. Again last week, we saw 2 black men, Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, killed by police in situations that did not appear to require deadly force. And just a day later, we saw a lone gunman take the lives of 5 innocent police officers, who by many accounts were protecting the black community as it peacefully demonstrated for fair treatment under the law, end quote. Due to the current climate in America, we felt it important to have an open discussion about these issues. We wanted a voice that could speak directly to us with a qualified perspective. Garry McFadden is a 34-year veteran of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, retired lead homicide detective. Mr. McFadden has received local and national notoriety for his roles included, but not limited to, President Obama personally inviting to the White House on his 21st Century Policing Initiative. He's a member of Governor Pat McCrory's transition team for the Department of Public Safety. The FBI twice awarded Mr. Garry McFadden with the Distinguished Service Award for his work in homicide investigations. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department awarded Garry with the Medal of Valor and the Chief of Police Outstanding Service Award. The number of accolades, awards, community service that Garry has done, they are really truly too many to list. But On June 14, 2016, investigative Discovery Channel presented I Am Homicide, a docuseries highlighting a few of Garry's most complex homicide cases that were worked over the span of his career. The debut of his nationally televised show recognized Garry as the first African-American officer to have his own television show. So now you're probably wondering, what am I going to get out of today's talk, right? I get it. All right, so here are the 3 points that we'll hone. Ways to feel safe in your community, things you should do when tragic events occur, and how to accept and process the way you feel. I had the pleasure of meeting Garry for the first time a few months ago through the love of my life. They're frat brothers of 20 years, and he's the real deal. He's a true gem, and we're so fortunate to have him here today. So please help me give Garry a warm welcome. To kick it off, we will start with a brief video, and then we'll take it from there.
I am not black. I mean, that's what the world calls me, but it's not me. I didn't come out of my mother's womb saying, hey everybody, I'm black. No, I was taught to be black. And you were taught to call me that, along with whatever you call yourself. It's just a label. See, from birth, the world force feeds us these labels. And eventually, we all swallow them. We digest and accept the labels, never, ever doubting them. But there's one problem. Labels are not you, and labels are not me. Labels are just labels. But who we truly are is not skin deep. See, when I drive my car, no one would ever confuse the car for me. Well, when I drive my body, why do you confuse me for my body? It's my body. Get it? Not me. Let me break it down. See, our bodies are just cars that we operate and drive around. The dealership we call society decided to label mine the black edition, yours the Irish or white edition. And with no money down, 0% APR, and no test drive, we were forced to own these cars for the rest of our lives. Forgive me, but I fail to see the logic or pride in defining myself or judging another by the cars we drive. Because who we truly are is found inside. Listen, I'm not here to tell you how science has concluded that genetically we're all mixed and race in the human species doesn't exist, or how every historian knows that race was invented in the 15th century to divide people from each other and it has worked perfectly. No, I'm not here to lecture. I just want to ask one question. Who would you be if the world never gave you a label? Never gave you a box to check? Would you be white, black, Mexican, Asian, Native American, Middle Eastern, Indian? No. We would be one. We would be together. No longer living in the error of calling human beings black people or white people. These labels that will forever blind us from seeing a person for who they are, but instead seeing them through the judgmental, prejudicial, artificial filters of who we think they are. And when you let an artificial label define yourself, then my friend, you have chosen smallness over greatness and minimized yourself, confined and divided yourself from others. And it is an undeniable fact that where there is division, there will be conflict, and conflict starts wars. Therefore, every war has started over labels. It's always us versus them. So the answer to war, racism, sexism, and every other ism is so simple that every politician has missed it. It's the labels. We must rip them off. Isn't it funny how no baby is born racist, yet every baby cries when they hear the cries of another, no matter the gender, culture, or color, proving that deep down we were meant to connect and care for each other. That is our mission, and that is not my opinion. That is the truth in a world that has sold us fiction. Please listen, labels only distort our vision, which is why half of those watching this will dismiss it or feel resistance and conflicted. But just remember, so did the caterpillar. before it broke through its shell and became the magnificent butterfly. Well, these labels are our shells, and we must do the same thing so we can finally spread our wings. Human beings were not meant to be slapped with labels like groceries and supermarkets. DNA cannot be regulated by the FDA. We were meant to be free, and only until we remove them all and stop living and thinking so small will we be free to see ourselves and each other for who we truly are.
So good afternoon. Good afternoon. So y'all want to have a conversation, huh? Well, let me tell you about, I'm going to try to work from this paper, but as my wife says, she doesn't know why I always write my speech down on the paper, because I believe in God, not the one that some of y'all believe in, I believe in God. So God may put a spirit in my soul, the Holy Ghost, and I may say something like, may shock you. So be prepared for that. Because see, here's what I want to say, that I understand that I am black by design, but a cop by choice. Because that's who I am, I'm a cop. Now, think about how you feel at this moment just because I said I was a cop. That's it. Think about just saying, thinking about the percentage. Are you trying to figure out, can you trust me just because I'm a cop, but I'm still African American? That's pretty deep, isn't it? See, the things that you argue about every day, or whether you're African American, or whether the police is right, or whether the communities of color are right, where do I go? Where do I go for 35 years? I have been an African American police officer. And I will tell you this. If I had to start over again, I'll come back to this job again. Because you see me just as a police officer, or a cop, or homicide detective. And that's fine, because that says you limit your thinking of who I really am. But ID Discovery found me underneath a rock. I'm passing my desk one day, they decided to call me and say, we want to do a documentary of you, talk about your life. And they compete me with the other gentleman, Joe Kinder, who's been on the air for 5 years. They started to look at it, and I didn't know what a podcast was until we started this show. And his podcast downloaded 90,000 times in 2 years. When I start talking, my podcast downloaded 60,000 times in 1 day. Wow. Because somebody said, we want to hear you talk. And that's what I'm going to try to do today. And why are we here? Because I got a phone call from my wonderful fraternity brother here, the greatest fraternity in the world, Omega Psi Phi. I'm going to get that out of the way. Which side is Boston? Where's Boston? Raise your hand. Okay. We will respect them today, but I'm a Yankee fan. Let me get that out of the way. I'll take some lobster every now and then, but I'll get in and out, and so we'll work with them. But I want to thank this organization for taking that step and ringing that bell, because I have been doing events like this probably for the last 20 years. And here's what your company has done. They took that step. A lot of companies have taken that step, and then they bring the other foot together, and they're like, what do we do now? They never move forward. We talk about a corporation here in the city that asked me a year ago when we had Trayvon and Eric Gardner and Michael Brown incidents, and they have what we call water cooler chatter. We all had it. Whispers in the cubicle. And then when somebody who doesn't look like you pass by, hey. And then they walk on. Let's go back to our conversation. Or you have the parking lot. You leave work at 5 because you have to get home, but you're still in the parking lot. And then when they drive by, you just wave. And then you go back. What are we going to do? Why is it like this? What is going on? And those things you need to ask the questions about in America, because we ask the same thing where I work. Jonathan Farrell case, and let me tell you why this is so personal to me, because I live on both sides. Let me tell you how diverse. I try to figure out how diverse. Somebody said, well, how is he qualified? Because the first thing you're going to do is say, how is he qualified? Who is he? Why is he this person? None of my accolades that they talk about mean anything. Here's where I put myself, and let me show you why. I was the regional director for the NAACP security team for 20 years. So I know I got somebody liking me on this side, right? I got them liking me on that side, because I'm the NAACP director, so he's black. But I also was on the NRA security team. That's what I need. But I was special with the NRA. And you know who wanted me to be there? Charlton Heston's wife. I learned how to fly fish because of Charlton Heston. And I fly fish very well. On this side again. So when I worked for the NRA, I learned a lot. When I worked for the NAACP, I learned a lot. I'm not so far over here that I can't come back here. We need to talk about that. So then, one of the best thank you cards that I ever got was from the Outlaw Motorcycle Gang. But the best time I've had in my entire career happened last July, 1 year ago, back on this side, where young men in the community who we don't recognize, who we don't invite to the seminars, who we don't invite to the church functions, who we don't have a seat at the table, say, Gary, we heard that you're going to do something in the community, and we want to help you. And I went to these two gentlemen, and I said, so let me get this straight. You want me to help organize your gang to invite the other gang that y'all been fighting for 20 years. Who's from Charlotte about the He-Man and the G-Man? And if y'all remember them?
Yes.
All right. So you want Stan and the boys to come over here. Revolution Park, Remount Road, last July, they invited me. The gangs came together. For 7 hours, we stayed in that park and laughed and cried and talked about what is it to come together. Those men, if they would have followed me here today, if I would let them, they follow me everywhere. Now they have been awarded Chief Citizen of the Year Award this past year. 1 year. No meetings, no forums, no let's bring a consultant in and spend $30,000. Let's don't see if it's evidence-based. Let's just say, Gary, come and help me. Boys, if y'all want to help me, I'm with you. Come and help me. No platform, no memos. Gary, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And that is what's wrong, because we wait. So America can't wait anymore because